Hello everybody, today I'm going to give you an update how we created overclocking configuration for our test bench together with Cyclop, who actually did all entire work for me because I'm not that good at it, and he did 100 times much faster. He gave you some details how he set up the things, and that will be carried forward with all our water cooling testings.
Cyclops here guys, as he introduced me. So the system, what we're doing here today is trying to put as much heat as possible into the loop, because our main goal is to measure the thermals with different size radiators, different thickness radiators, different fan configuration, different fan placement like push pull, stuff like that. And in order to do that, I want to get as much heat as possible into the loop. So we overclocked the CPU, we overclocked the GPU, and the results were pretty interesting. What we're using right now, the graphic card is a GTX 770 reference card from EVGA. It's been overclocked. The BIOS is unlocked to 1.21 volts and around 1240 megahertz. The important bit is obviously the voltage. The CPU is a 4670K running at 4.5 gigahertz, 1.3 volts. The motherboard is a Z87 OC, XOC Force from Gigabyte. It's their high-end Z87 motherboard, $400 I think at launch price, with a PLX chip, so you actually can do 4-way Crossfire or SLI at 8x across the board. As I mentioned, the processor and the graphic card are overclocked. The water cooling we have, this is a preliminary loop just to figure out what we needed to do to get where, but the system is in a bit of a mess right now. We'll fix that by the next video. But the water cool consists of the CPU block, a GPU block, and the motherboard block, which covers the VRMs as well as the chipset and the PLX. So it's quite a lot of heat going through it. The maximum power consumption I could manage, I tried a couple of different methods. So I tried AIDA64, FurMark, 3D Mark 11, and a combination of FurMark and AIDA. Now the maximum power consumption I managed to get is 455 watts. Doesn't mean we're putting 455 watts into the loop, because there's power consumption loss in terms of efficiency when it goes to the power supply, and there are other components that are on water cooled, they still generate heat, like the pump and the memory. So, but you know, as a baseline, we know that's how much we're getting. And I managed to get that 450 watts by using the CPU benchmark portion of the AIDA64. So I basically take the CPU cache and the FPU, and then running FurMark on the side. Now I don't generally recommend FurMark for testing or stability testing, any of that, but as you know, as to make your house a little bit warmer and generate a lot of heat, it's a good tool, which is exactly what we needed. So we use that. As you can see, it's running in the background. So the components right now, what we have is a 240 rad, but it's temporary. We're going to test 120, 240, 360 different sorts of rad, but as for a basic setup, that's about it. We're running a dual pump. We might test, you know, the sorts of restrictions. If the loop order matters, probably does a tiny bit, not really tangible, but we will all find that out. This is the start of the test bench, and we've done quite well, if I say so myself. So Daz?
Alright guys, one thing that we already tried to do today, I promise you that I would like to test, is it even worthwhile to make water cooling for the motherboard, not in terms of the modding exercise, but more in terms of gaining any performance results. So far we tried to put as much stress on the system, trying to get results from the sensors. We haven't had anything. So whatever we do with the platform, motherboard temperatures stay absolutely the same. So I still going to put motherboard block in and check what's going on. But forecast at this point that probably it makes no difference unless this EK block so bad the temperatures go up just because of replacing stock on a custom block, but unlikely those things happening. Nevertheless, that was one of the reasons why the build is so messy, because I didn't want to put any nice tube routes, while I'm definitely have a different motherboard block in place of the standard heat sinks we have right now. So that's what's going on. In next video I'm start putting nicely the whole platform and add quick disconnects and things like this, so it can be much easier to switch between water cooling components and start giving you some results. And hopefully you will like this series and get something out of it. Again, I would like to remind you, if you would like to put any suggestion what exactly you would like to test, we're happy to consider it as additional to add additionally to the list we already have having in place. And otherwise, that's pretty much it. Do you like to add anything for today work? No? Alright. Well, I'd like to thank you, Cyclope, for help. We spent here good 6 hours tweaking the system. Also, video probably only 5 minutes, but it was a lot of work to done. But right now it's fully ready to start taking different water cooling parts, and I will produce some results pretty shortly. Thank you for watching. See you soon, guys.